C melodic minor scale, often referred to as the Ione or in the major with a flatted third. So it's a melodic minor scale, but it's just like a major scale except they flat the third. So what does that mean? Well, it falls under the minor categories. Of course, we have natural minors, harmonic minor, which you might have just checked out in my series. Now we're going to be discussing melodic minors. And melodic minors do have their purpose. So there's three types of minor scales, the ones I just mentioned. This particular scale is in C. So this C melodic minor scale starts on the 6th string, 8th fret. And of course, there's going to be patterns to follow, except this one doesn't really have a pattern, a finger pattern. So, I mean, ones that like repeat, like for example, if you play the natural minor, you're repeating the 6th and 5th strings, you know, with your 1st, 3rd, and 4th fingers. So this happens to start just like that, because the first 6 notes is just like the major scale. And with the melodic minor, you raise the 6th and 7th notes of that scale. So if we're in the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That 6th and 7th note is raised. But let's play it, and we start once again in the 6th string, 8th fret, 1st, 3rd, 4th fingers, 1st and 3rd on the 5th. So on the 6th, 8, 10, 11 frets with your 1st, 3rd, and 4th fingers. 5th string, 8th and 10th frets. Now, 7th, 9th, and 10th frets on the 4th string with your 1st, 3rd, and 4th fingers. Then, on the 3rd string, 7, 8, 10 this time. So that's kind of easy to remember, those strings at least. One, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. So, I mean, all these scales, the patterns are easy to remember, but a majority of them are easier, is what I'm saying. So we have this so far. Now on the 2nd string, we play the 8th and 10th frets with our 2nd and 4th fingers. And then this way we can play the 7th and 8th frets. And there is the 2-octave scale. It's a 2-octave scale, but I like to go up to E flat. So I'll give you an extra couple of notes there. And I'm going to give you the scale. Remember, C melodic minor. C melodic minor. I'm starting on the 6th string with the 1st finger, 8th fret. It's also known as an Ionian. Ionian means major. Hopefully, if you haven't followed my series on modes, you'll check those out too. An Ionian major is the same thing. It means a major scale. But you flat the 3rd, but it also has the raised 7th. Therefore, it's got a minor quality to it. So what kind of related chords can you use? Well, obviously, you can use a C minor or C minor 7th with a D minor, E flat, F. Let's go to G. A lot of people like to use the G augmented, but I think the G major is just as nice. Then we have an A diminished and B diminished, and back to C, C minor. So if you've been watching my videos, you've been seeing this chord a lot. Okay, this is the diminished chord. Looks like an open D. Just make that open D starting on the 4th string, 4th fret. 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings instead of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then you put your 4th finger on the A, which is the 5th fret of the 1st string, and that's an A diminished. And then we play a B diminished. So once again, we're gonna have a C minor 7th, a D minor, E flat, F, play a G this way, A diminished, B diminished, and back to C minor. Or you can play it that way. So this way you can get right into the chord, right into the scale. Here are the 2 extra notes. So say if you're playing this progression, C minor to a D minor, C minor 7th to a D minor, maybe you throw in the E flat and the F to the C minor to the D minor, C minor 7th, D minor, E flat, F. You don't have to start in C just because you're in the key of C. Here I'm starting on an A. Just to give you an example. So just wrote this out. C melodic minor. And to give you the example, the lead example right there. Following the finger pattern is going to make it so much easier in the long run. And maybe a lot of you are not used to using your 2nd and 4th finger, starting in certain positions. A lot of us, comfortable using our 1st, 3rd, and 4th when we start with the 1st finger. But if you start with a 4th finger or a 2nd finger, that can be a little more difficult. Here are the related chords. And remember, the scale is identical with the major scale, except for the minor 3rd. So this can be called a major, the C melodic minor. All melodic minors can be called a major flatted 3rd scale, or Ionian flatted 3rd scale. So that's a little technical, a little bit of knowledge for you to learn and, treasure, because there's nothing like music. It being the language of the emotions, right? Music is the language of the emotions. And be sure when you play this scale, try to alternate your picking. That means you start with a down, up, down, up. And you can do all sorts of different things. Experiment with it, play it back and forth, memorize this pattern. It's not difficult, but it is probably one of the more difficult ones, as opposed to if you wanted to learn a major scale pattern starting on the 6th string, or a minor scale pattern, or even the harmonic minor. This melodic minor, it's a little bit more. It's not as repetitious as the previously mentioned scales, but it is an important scale, and it's one worth learning. It will definitely spice up your leads, okay? It'll enhance your playing. It'll enhance your musical ability. And it's slight theory. It's not major theory, but it's very important. I urge everyone to learn some theory because you will improve as a musician. Unfortunately, there was that attitude at one point in time. And I remember it. I remember reading certain rock and roll magazines and listening to, famous musicians saying that they never learned how to read music or they never learned any theory. Well, as they got better, as they matured, so many different bands got better. They inadvertently, or not even really inadvertently, if they didn't take lessons with somebody, they learned from a more experienced player, or they had maybe somebody in the studio, like a producer who might have had a master's degree in music and helped them, and everybody benefited from it, but there was that attitude that I didn't have to do it, I didn't have to go to school, I can just do it my way, which is true. But unless you learn If you don't learn any theory, you're just going to stagnate. And like I've said before in one of my videos, I've played guitar for 45 years and taught for 35, and I still feel like I'm learning and I'm teaching myself music theory. And I heartily endorse that you learn this. So that's all I have to say. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a comment and keep playing and have fun.